Maraba da al'umma TV, tasha ce na gari na kowa. Al'umma TV ku saurara, tasha ce mai ilimantarwa.
Viewers, you are welcome to yet another edition of our program with His Excellency Dr. Dauda Lawal Gamjan Gusau, the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. You could recall some few weeks back we had a similar discussion with His Excellency in these studios. And last few weeks or last few days, we witnessed presidential and National Assembly elections. And in the next few days, we shall also go to polls to elect governors in various states of the Federation. And in the studios today, like I said, we have His Excellency Dr. Dauda Lawal Gamjan Gusau. Your Excellency, you are welcome to the program once again.
Thank you very much, my brother.
Yes. Viewers, as always, I'm with my co-presenter, Haja Amina Mustafa Ismail. Haja Amina.
Thank you very much. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Amina.
And viewers might be interested to know that Amina is the director news of this station, and she plays different roles to make sure that you are well informed in this, channel. Your Excellency, like we have just discussed in the Hausa version of this program, presidential elections and National Assembly elections have been held some few days back, and in the next few weeks or few days too, so to speak, we will go to poll to elect governors. What is your reaction to the last election held?
Well, let me start by saying a big thank you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, for the opportunity of having me here to speak on important issues that relates to the past presidential election that took place almost 10 days or thereabout ago. I can comfortably say that the election took place, and from what we saw, we're extremely comfortable, and the voters' turnout was great. And from what we saw, PDP was the leading party at that time, before some kind of underground issues took place, which we are all aware. And as law-abiding people, we're going through the legal process to make sure all the irregularities that took place were fully addressed. And therefore, we are on that, and we'll get to the end of that. And when that happens, we will soon come back and inform our people fully as to what happened or what will happen.
Yeah.
Inshallah.
So, Amina?
Dr. Dauda, what are your views on the declared inconclusive in Zamfara Central, that is Gusau Safi?
The issue, honestly, is something that really took us aback, because clearly it was PDP that had the majority votes. However, as I said, there were a lot of irregularities that took place, and that was what made the election to be inconclusive, as they call it.
Okay, Doctor, you talk of irregularities. Please, can you shed more light on maybe what you have heard from the people that voted, or some complaints that you have received?
Well, apart from what we saw and what we heard from people, there are empirical evidence as to some of the irregularities that took place during the voting process and after, in the process of counting those votes. up to the way to the collection center where the election was supposed to be, or the result was supposed to be announced. But for some dubious reasons, that did not happen. And I said earlier, we have evidence, and we are a law-abiding party, and therefore we have commenced the judicial process to make sure we get our mandate back, because we won that election with a very, very wide margin.
Excellency, maybe I want you to talk of how this might affect the morale or otherwise of your supporters.
Well, I don't see this as anything that will affect the morale of our people.
Okay.
We remain resolute, we remain committed, and we are doing everything humanly possible to make sure where there are lapses, those lapses are fully taken care of, to make sure that did not happen again. And therefore, for me, there is nothing to worry about as far as this coming election that will take place on the 11th of March 2023 across Nigeria and Zamfara in particular. Of course, I'm particular about Zamfara because that is my state and that is where I'm running for the office of the governor. So there's no shaky.
Doctor, being the Beavers, the electronic votes, as a one of contentment, not only here and around the country, how sure are you, how confident are you about the Beavers electronic vote?
Honestly, across board, people were disappointed with INEC because what we were made to believe was that the Beavers is an exceptional instrument that will take care of all the irregularities in the process of voting. However, what we saw was the complete opposite. As we know, there are many, many polling units in Zamfara that one election did not take place. Beavers were not used, but election results were declared. These are some of the issues I told you were taking legal issues because they brought these beavers and we had absolute confidence that it will take care of all those malpractices in the past. Unfortunately, it didn't live up to expectations. As you've heard, even the INEC themselves, they agree that there were issues. And they're saying, which is an indictment on their part, that this time around they are going to make sure they use the beavers, which means it's an admittance of guilt that beavers were not used as they were supposed to.
Your Excellency, what will you tell the INEC now for the forthcoming election? Because it is believed that when errors occur, then for future efforts should be made to correct them.
I think it's not just Zamfara. There are a series of complaints across the country on this issue of beavers. And the assurance we're getting from INEC is that this time around they will make sure they do the needful by making sure they take care of some of the issues in the previous election, which was the presidential and the National Assembly election. So we're hoping that this time around they will live up to the expectations of Nigerians by making sure that the instrument called beavers is what will be used in making sure we have a credible election across the country.
Okay, Your Excellency, women constitute a very large majority of voters, and I have heard in most of your speeches, campaign speeches, you seem to have a lot of confidence in them. What specific message do you have for them in the next?
Let me confirm that statement. Women play significant role in this election. When a lady tells you, or a woman tells you that she's going to do this, be rest assured, she will do that. I have that confidence. I have seen it. They've demonstrated that. And therefore, I still have absolute confidence in the ability and the capacity of our women when it comes to voting. And therefore, I'm still appealing and calling on them not to relent in their efforts towards saving the society, especially Zamfara states. This is the time they need to show more. Because, yes, they need to show more commitment because it is something that affects them directly. It's the issue of governance, which is one of the fundamental issue or challenge that we have in this state.
Yes. Doctor, as you said, women, I think we are the majority voters.
Absolutely.
As you said, the most significant figure.
Absolutely.
In politics, not only in Nigeria, all around the world.
True.
The issue here is, let's look at Zamfara State. Zamfara State is a place that, if you even look at it when it comes to education, women backwards Zamfara, I think, is one of the leading states when it comes to that. So most of this women, most of the issues are usually not women now. It's not about vote buying due to the demonetization the country sort of implemented and so many. But there is a little bit of inadequacy when it comes to sensitizations about these women. How prepared is PDP is to see that these women have contributed much polling day?
Well, generally, if you look at the situation in Nigeria today, when it comes to the issue of education, Zamfara is at the tail end, just like the letter Z. That is an established fact, and it's verifiable. So we're not making up stories here. And like you said, in this part of the country, especially Zamfara, women are the one feeling the heat because they were not given, and they are still not given the opportunity to go to school, and not just to go to school and do so many other things. Sometimes people hide behind religion to exploit women. And therefore, this time around, we know the value of women. We know what they can do. We know their credibility. When they say they will, they will. So I'm using this opportunity to call on the women in Zamfara to come out massively on Saturday, 11th of March, to exercise their franchise by voting PDP, as well as credible leaders that will take care of their issues and also build a better society for the future.
Any message for them to resist temptations?
You know, poverty is one thing. Education is another thing.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, for a state like Zamfara, the leaders are capitalizing on their ignorance to use just one day to buy wrapper. You know, women are wrapper.
Spaghetti.
And also the packet of spaghetti that you eat
Already.
maybe on that day, and that's the end of it. And meanwhile, you're sacrificing your future for the next 4 years. They know what they went through within the last 4 years. And I believe they wouldn't want to go through that process again and enslave themselves for the next 4 years.
Yes.
And therefore, I'm calling on them to resist all temptations, to make sure they do the right thing by voting for credible leaders and by voting PDP, because we are concerned about the future of Zamfara. We are concerned about the children and the grandchildren of Zamfara. And therefore we shouldn't allow this opportunity to slip away just for one day by deceptive people coming to give them 1,000 or to give them spaghetti or a wrapper to sell their conscience and to sell their future. And therefore, we'll continue to enlighten them. Thank God we'll still have a couple of days, and this will continue through the media to explain the implication of what they are doing, and therefore they shouldn't allow that to happen in the next coming election, which is for the gubernatorial candidates,
Yes.
especially in Zamfara.
Doctor, I would like to ask this question again.
Sure.
I think a couple of weeks back, the whole state witnessed some issues you had, especially personally or your place with your family, with people called unknown people that attacked the convoy of your
True.
lady. So the issue is, how are you prepared, or how sure are you about the security forces in the states?
Like you rightly mentioned, a couple of days ago, or maybe about 2 weeks ago, an incident happened where the motorcade of my wife was attacked around Tudunwada area.
And these are allegedly state-backed security outfits.
Exactly. In fact, it's not alleged because it's an established fact that 2 of my policemen were shot. I'm sure if you go through some of these videos, you'll see where I went to the Federal Medical Center to see 2 of those guys who were shot in the process, a police sergeant and an inspector. Even this Friday, I was there to see their condition because they went through operations to make sure some of those bullets were removed from their body, and they are still receiving treatment. So it was an established fact. It wasn't made up. Now, this is one of the tactics the government is using, one, to scare people away. It was actually targeted at me, but like I said, this is time for sacrifice. I've sacrificed my life. I've sacrificed everything that I have in order to save the larger society, and I'm still on it, and nothing will change my mind. And I'm therefore using this opportunity to also appeal to people not to get discouraged in any form. In fact, they need to be more prepared now to face some of those challenges. You know, revolution is not an easy thing, and it comes with a price. And this is one of the price that we have to pay. It doesn't come easy. So people should know that, and people should be ready. Don't be scared,
Yes.
as nothing will scare us. We remain resolute, we remain committed, and we will take this fight to the end.
Thank you very much. This issue of in the last few days, we have been talking about people defending their votes. What do you mean by that?
Well, it's a very simple and straightforward thing. Election is around the corner. One had happened, which was the presidential and the National Assembly. And the most critical one is coming, which is the gubernatorial and the state assembly, in a matter of a few days. And what I'm saying here now is I'm appealing to all the citizens of Zamfara, those who are eligible to vote, to make sure they come out in mass and vote and change a terrible system for a better one. That is what we've been campaigning about, and we're still on that. We are on a rescue mission. Zamfara deserve better leaders. That is the long and short story of it. And nobody can do it but ourselves.
Yes. So, Dr. Dauda Lawal, what makes you different from all those contesting?
Well, it's a very interesting question. I usually don't sell myself, but allow people to be the judge. History is always there. Facts are always there. And facts are verifiable. You can go and check the resume or the CV of who is Dauda, and I will allow you to be the judge.
Dr. Dauda, can you give us a description of a futuristic Zamfara you have in mind?
The Zamfara in my mind is the Zamfara that is secure, where people will have the ability to move freely and go about doing their day-to-day without thinking of banditry, kidnapping, area boys, and the rest of it. I want a Zamfara where we will have the best in the area of education, where our children can compete effectively anywhere they find themselves to be in every aspect of human endeavor. I want a Zamfara where healthcare is being given the desired attention. I want a Zamfara where empowerment, you empower people to be independent, to be self-reliant without depending on government. That is the kind of Zamfara I want. I want a state where once you walk in, you know there's presence of government, you know there's leadership, the ambience, the dilapidated infrastructure. That is the kind of Zamfara I'm looking at.
Project in 20, 50 years coming.
And that is one of the reasons why I'm out here sacrificing everything that I've said to be the governor, so that people will be happy, people will see a different Zamfara, where everybody will be proud of you. When you go and you mention you're from Zamfara, then people look at and say, yes, well done, Amina.
Your Excellency, maybe you have a message to the security agents, and then maybe issues to take care of people that will intrude to do what is not their job, for instance. So people who wear some uniforms and they...
Well, like we are all aware, government is using a security outfit called anti-thuggery. Let me make it clear that anti-thuggery is illegal. We've gone to court, and we've gotten a court injunction that they are not legal. Legally, they shouldn't operate. However, we are aware the tactics the state government is using to use them to antagonize and terrorize people, especially on election day. And therefore, we are fully aware, and we've informed the security. In fact, they have done uniform of different security outfits, which they are going to give them to use on that day. And we are calling on the security agencies to do the needful and to provide a conducive environment where people will be allowed to exercise their franchise. That is to vote for the right leadership. We are not violent. We don't encourage violence. And therefore, they should remain neutral to make sure we have a safe environment where people will vote just like every other places. And they should also be aware of this fake security outfit that government is trying to use to intimidate people. Their role is not to intimidate. Their role is to maintain law and order. And I don't expect anything less from all the security agencies in Zamfara. I have confidence that they will do it because they know the implication of the law.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Before we finally go, what message do you want the electorates to bear in mind next Saturday before they vote? What do you want them to bear in mind before they vote for any candidate?
Well, what I would say here is their conscience has to be clear. They know the right thing to do, and therefore they know the kind of leaders they expect, irrespective of party affiliation. And therefore, I'm calling on them to do their due diligence and make sure, one, they come out to vote, and when they vote for credible leaders that are concerned for their life, or better life, or a better condition of living. That is what I expect. And I'm sure they are right thinking, and they will do what is right towards saving as well as building a better future for all of us. That is my message.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for speaking to us for all this while. Viewers, all along we have been speaking to Dr. Dauda Lawal Gamjan Gusau, PDP gubernatorial candidate, Zamfara State. We have just made this presentation with my co-presenter, Hajia Amina Mustafa Ismail. Before we draw the curtain of today's edition of the program, we want to sincerely appreciate the entourage of His Excellency, including Honorable Bello Dakengari Bununjengebe, who is the head of media crew of His Excellency Dr. Dauda Lawal. Thank you very much. We also appreciate Alhaji Abba Muhammad, Alhaji Suleiman Lawal Dari, Alhaji Zaharaddin Bello Imam. We thank you so much. We cannot mention all your names, but we appreciate you in our own ways. On behalf of everyone, particularly the managing director of this station, Alhaji Bashir Sandagusau, my name is Sana Ahmed Sambo, saying thank you for watching and goodbye.
Maraba da al'umma TV, tasha ce na gari na kowa. Al'umma TV ku saurara, tasha ce mai ilimantarwa.
Maraba da al'umma TV.
Sannan ta yi shiri tsantsa domin ta ba da gudunmawa.